Hey there, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? Welcome to another one of my Draw2Much videos here on YouTube. Welcome to my favorite place here on YouTube. I love being here. I love spending time with you guys. And today we're going to continue on with the drawing we have from last week. We did 2 weeks ago a drawing where I took a drawing and within 20 minutes inked and colored it from scratch, other than just the initial sketch that I had. And it was very reasonable. But this is a design I'm intending to use for t-shirts and things like that. This is my favorite character, Shreddy Bear, or Shreddy Bear, excuse me. This is my FPV name, and I'll explain that in a minute. And if you've seen my other videos, you already know what I'm going to say. But this character is really important to me that we ink and really get him colored up properly, because he is going to be on a t-shirt and I want to make sure he looks really, really good. So I got him all drawn out here. As you can see, he's in a straight jacket. He looks very cool. Really, really neat design that I like. My wife suggested I draw him in a straight jacket, and I think that's a really good idea. So in today's video, within 20 minutes, we're going to color him properly. We're really going to put some time and effort into getting him colored properly. It's all going to be in the moment. If you get bored, don't be afraid to fast forward. Basically, the long story short is, this is our initial sketch right here. And you can already tell, if you know what to look for, you can see a humongous difference between the inking that we did here and the inking that we did here. There's just a lot more refinement, a lot more detail that was put into it. The initial drawing that I did, which I'll be happy to show you, was all just a pre-sketch, and it was this right here. And as you can see, it looks pretty cool. It's simple, and it's nicely detailed within the sketch. So it's really easy to ink over top of. And then I decided that I was going to ink and color it within 20 minutes. And if I turn on a couple layers here for you, you can see what that finished coloring and inking did within 20 minutes. Looks really, really good. But I want to show you what happens when you take just a little bit more time. Basically, I focused on, in this piece here, in this one, 20 minutes to ink and color. In this piece over here, I did 15 minutes roughly to ink it. So now, what I'm going to do is within the last 20 minutes that we're going to do here, we're going to color him properly, really get him detailed. It's going to look really, really cool. Okay, so I do think that if you guys have seen my YouTube videos, I've done this a ton of times. You guys have seen me do this over and over again. I want to demonstrate how important it is that you take your time to really focus on getting clean line quality, to getting really clean line quality, really getting that focus that's really going to just make things pop. Okay, and I'm really excited for this one. I'm gonna make my wife wear this shirt, because this one's a really cool design, and she better like it because it's kind of her idea. So we're going to go ahead and get this awesome little guy all colored up. He's going to really pop, and he's going to really, I think he's going to look obviously as good, if not a lot better, because we're going to really focus on a lot more refinement. If I zoom in here, you can see that a lot of these shaded lines and things are just really thrown in place in the amount of time that I had. If you watch that initial video, it's like, you know, and so really taking the time to focus in on my line work here and getting all the shading where it's supposed to be, really defining it, I think it's really going to make it pop. All right, so are we ready to do this? Let's go ahead and dig into my phone here. And I got 20 minutes on my clock. I'm going to go ahead and open up my stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and start on a new layer. So let me go ahead and quickly throw these things into this group here. Hang on just a second. New group. He's not going to let me do it. Okay, fine. Whatever, I'm just going to delete that group. I'm going to take these two guys. We're going to group them together and close it up. And starting on my new layer here, now I'm all set to start to do some color. Okay, here we go, guys. In 3, 2, 1, we're off to the races. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start by getting my initial color that I want to set up. My wife chose the initial color for this guy. I wanted her to choose, and so we're focusing on orange. Now, one thing that I want to show you guys as I drop colors in here, clicking and dragging colors over, it fills the whole page. So what I want to do instead is come here to my character, and I want to tell him to reference. And now, when I do this again, fills up where it's supposed to. And if I did my line work correctly, everything should, for the most part, fill up in the areas where it's supposed to without flooding over into other areas. Now let's see where else I can add this yellow, where it's going to play an important role. So down here, over here. Take your time to make sure that you fill up all those lines correctly, because in the long run, you're going to save yourself a lot of time without having to hand color. That just makes all the difference in the world when it comes to one of these pieces. Okay, areas like this are going to be really hard to color in by dragging and dropping, so I'm just going to quickly just brush these in here really quick. But you can see that within the first just couple seconds, we've already applied a lot of great color here, and it looks really, really good. It looks flat. It looks flat. That's what I'm saying. New layer. Still using that reference layer. We're going to go ahead and select our brownish, kind of reddish tone. It's supposed to be somewhere around here, I think. And with that, we're going to go ahead and drag it over the muzzle. And of course, his belly isn't showing, his arms and his feet aren't showing, so we're good there. Next layer. Let's go ahead and grab orange again. I'm going to try for a slightly brighter form of orange, and this one's going to go into his eyes. Now we're going to go for a gray, and we're going to use that for the nose and for the mouth. Oh, and you can see here that we have a little dilemma. If you look right here, you can see where it's not quite filled out in that tooth there. So let me go ahead and quickly grab my black, go into the ink layer, and just quickly knock in this just a little bit more. And now when I go back in and apply that black tone, whoops, my nose is in the wrong place too. Let me go ahead very quickly and grab my eraser and erase the nose out of there. There's other ways I could have done that, but that's the one I'm going to choose for right now. Make a new layer, get that light grayish black, fill in the nose, fill in the mouth. And you can see this time it filled in really well. It just saves a lot of time in the long run when it comes to trying to get these drawings done. I'm going to do something I didn't do in the last one. I'm going to give him gums. So we're going to go into the pinks here. And they don't need to be bright pink or anything. Whoa, look at that. So it didn't quite fill out for that, did it? Let's see if it does it on any of the other ones. That did fine. That's doing fine. That one did fine. Let's try this one again. All right, so apparently there's some kind of dilemma there. Even though the line is connecting here fully, for some reason it's not assuming that. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly fill this one in. I don't want to really make that line much thicker, quite honestly, because I don't want that to be a really defined area with a lot of detail. I just want to focus on getting the little details here. Okay, now let's do another layer, and I'm expecting that we're going to have the same issue going the other direction. If I do this, I bet you it's going to fill that one gum, which it did. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my eraser. Oops. Grab my eraser here and erase that back. Let me check my time here. It's going to be very important. 16 minutes left. Okay, so there we go. We got the top teeth done. Going to fill in the bottom teeth now. That's great. Little areas like this, just need to put a little quick dot in here and fill that in. That looks just fine. Beep, there we go. And if I get something that I don't like, I'll just erase it from the other side. Okay, let's also take that same white, same gray to the nose. We're going to take it to the cotton that's all over the place on him here. So, same idea here. I'm just going to fill in all of this as much as I can, as quickly as I can. Once again, little areas like these things, it's just best just to go ahead and quickly knock those in with my brush, because they're not going to fill in as easily as they would as the big open areas would. Because if I tried, I'll hit this one, try and get that one, that one, that one, and that one, and oftentimes it might leave little white spots left over. So I try to save myself that time and heartache. So if I try to do this here as quickly as I can, that one did okay too, but you can see a little tiny white dot here on the end, so I'll just fill that in. Okay, so far so good. Feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to quickly grab my orange again, go to my orange layer, and quickly just fill this in here, because I missed that before as well. Okay, making some quick progress here. Let's start working on the goggles. The goggles are white, but I start off with a blue tone, because I want to make sure I get that fun shadow or shading on there that lets it show it as a white with shadow on it. And then finally we're going to go grab our blue, and then from that blue there I can drag it over here and get the side of the goggles, make sure it's on their own layer, and also get this antenna, which the antenna that I use like this is a blue antenna, and since this is basically me in a very angry form, since I am the Shreddy Bear, then I wanted to go ahead and use the antenna that I use on my stuff. Okay, now I want to go ahead and do the jacket, the straight jacket, and I do that in kind of a dirty tan. So we're going to go ahead and just knock in some of this dirty tan. And I'm also just going to go ahead and fill in these areas here. And you can see in this video, in comparison to my video where I rushed through and drew this in 20 minutes, that I actually created real belt buckles for this guy instead of just trying to rush through and scrape it out. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and get those belt buckles painted as well. I'm just going to do a gray, or what I'll do is I'll choose one of my deep grays and hand fill it in here really quick, just making sure that I stay within the lines. One of the benefits of really using very thick, bold inked lines is that it makes it really easy to color stuff in. Very, very easy to color stuff in. So just hitting all this all along here and on this side and coming up here. And then if there is anything, it's really, really easy to erase because you just got so much bold black line to work with. And there we go, all the flats are in. And that was within, now we got 12 minutes left. So we've taken about 10 minutes to do all the flats. Next part is going to be shadows. And the shadows are technical if you don't know what you're doing. But what I do for starters is let's take all of these layers, all these color layers, and I'm going to stick them in their own group. Excuse me, nose itches a little bit. Make a new layer, and here's where we're going to start using my shadow technique that I got from Nolan Harris, who's an amazing, amazing artist. And this just speeds up your work a ton. So using hard brush, basically still using my inking brush, I am starting to draw in my shadows now. And these shadows, you can just take your time, draw them correctly, and really focus on getting some of those nice, strong, bold details with shadows. Like I really like having this guy's eyes in shadow. I like sharpening out shadows so that it's hard points, even on these eyes, which are going to be super bright and vibrant. I like doing the drop shadow, like that. Same thing over here. And down here. Okay, fill in these eyes nice and bold, like this. Okay, and I'm telling you, this will make all the difference. I love how he looks when his eyes are dark and shaded, and you know, just really, it brings out a lot of vibrancy in the eyes when you see it that way. And I'll show you here when we get closer to the end of this. We are already starting to run out of time, so I need to kind of focus on getting this done just a little bit faster. And like I said, if you're getting bored, just fast forward. Okay. I like recording all of this in time because I'm a lazy bum and I only like editing my big professional videos that I do during the day, and not so much my little videos that I do here for my drawing stuff. I love editing though, I really do. I edit quite a bit for my my day-to-day business because I have been doing this for a long time, and it's really fun to do editing. It's not that, it's just, I don't know what the difference is for me. It's fun to do editing on large video projects. It is not fun to do editing on these little drawing videos, which take a long time in themselves. I mean, this is 20 minutes of recording right off the bat. But that's why I love OBS, open broadcasting software. If you guys are looking to stream your video gaming or do videos like this, I'm literally just using a webcam and a microphone, and right now I am using my lapel microphone, and it's a lot of fun. Speeds up the process a lot for making a video for you guys, which is very important to me. I don't have the time like Jazza Draws with Jazza might have to really put time into the editing. So I focus on spending time with you guys, having fun and learning new techniques with you guys, or teaching you the techniques that I have learned, and just really focus on community time in comparison to maybe quality time of video. I do that in so many of my other videos, quite honestly. Okay, so let's see how much time we got now. We have 9 minutes left. We're running out of time fast here. Let me go ahead and keep plugging away here. And just keep up the shadow. There we go. Alright, so once I get this shadowing done, my next attempt will be to start working on the highlights. Highlights are really going to help this guy stand out, but it helps to have very bold shadows to really help pop those out. So lots and lots of little detail. There we go. Hit the bottom here, get that one there, and let's get this ear over here. Okay, and make it a bit bigger. And how much time do I have left? I got 8 minutes and 25 seconds left. I think I'm going to be okay. The thing that helps me out is a lot of the techniques that I've learned really help me just kind of refine things quickly. You know, it's something, it's kind of like CSS. If you guys have ever dealt with doing HTML design, CSS kind of affects everything, you know, and it's very helpful. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. It's my techie side popping out, that's all I'm saying. Okay, so I think I'm feeling pretty good with this. I might just leave this as it is, since I am starting to feel that time constraint. Just doing a couple more little things here. But I really want to prove my point on how much better this looks when you really take your time to do specific things, to really define the structure of what you're hoping to get. So far, so good. Let's do this. Okay. All right. I think that looks pretty good. I would probably do a little bit more, but at this moment in time, I'm having a hard time seeing in the rush that I'm trying to do what exactly I would do otherwise. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave this at that. And I'm going to switch this layer to multiply and darken it up, and it's going to start popping pretty well. Okay. This is probably where the system's going to crash because this is a very high resolution file. So I'm going to go ahead and save by jumping back into the gallery. Okay, it does autosave on its own as the time progresses. I'm going to jump back in now. So hopefully it has properly saved it, because if I try to do a new group and duplicate it, there you go, it just crashed. So now I need to go back into Procreate and I need to try that again. So I'm going to jump in here, jump back into my character. There we go. And it's loading him up. Good. And then try and do this again. The reason why it crashes usually is because it's also trying to record the screen. It's capturing a time lapse of what I'm doing. And so I think it's when you do that, you're kind of freaking it out. That's why I like to jump out and jump back in, because I want to make sure that it saves the artwork. Okay, let's see. So I got this layer now. I basically duplicated all the color layers and I've put them in one folder. So now I can take this and I can say I want to do a select, and it's going to select everything that I've colored, and that's very, very helpful. Next up, I'm going to make a new layer above all the other layers, and this is going to be what I call an atmospheric effect. And I'm just going to start polishing in very slowly just some dark areas on him. Closer to the ground, I'm going to put a little bit more, and closer to the sky, a little bit less. I'll put a little inside his ears and things like that, but I really want to focus on making sure that light is hitting where I want it to hit and darkness is hitting where I want it to hit. So I really focus on refining this character out. I'm really going to put some highlights in here in just a second in the next 5 minutes that I have left to do this. So let me go ahead and turn this to multiply, and then I'll drop that layer just a little bit. I still want it to pop pretty boldly. Okay, next up, we're going to work on the highlights. Highlights are a lot of fun. I'm going to go grab my highlight color, which is the yellow-white, basically, using my soft airbrush. I'm going to start coming in here, and I'm going to start applying that effect. And it's going to look really, really cool, even before I do my general technique for brightening it up. I love starting here at the eyes, really starting to push up the the color. I'm trying to basically lift the skin off itself. I'm trying to make it look rounded, and so I'm going to apply a lot over here, coming this way, maybe some over here, some on the cheeks, and not quite that way. Let's try that again, and then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to drop this beneath my shadow layer for a little bit here. Okay, get some on the ears. Nice thing about having this layer selected right now is that it's not going to bleed off onto my backdrop, which is very, very important in this case. Hit that there. Let's go ahead and hit the top of the goggles here where the sun is going to hit, and I'm going to carry that down the face of the goggles here towards the front. All right, now you can see that it's hitting his lip and stuff, and usually I would leave that there because I do want some reflection off the goggles, because the goggles are pure white, so they are going to give a cast reflection. But for right now, in the time constraint that I have, I'm going to erase it anyway and focus on doing what I want here, because I'm running out of time very, very, very quickly, and I still feel the need to do that a little differently. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hit the top of his nose here with some of that light so it makes his nose pop just a little bit. I'm going to focus on putting it more on the front of the nose and not at the top of the bridge, because I want his nose to still look smushed into his face. If I do it at the top of the bridge, it's going to look like it's pulling out, kind of like a longer-nosed dog or something. This is a teddy bear. His face is supposed to be smushed. Okay, focusing on the highlights and the rest of these areas here. Don't need much more. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this layer now to an add layer. It's going to make everything kind of yellow because it's going to intensify all the yellows. And I'm just going to drop the opacity down a little bit so it stands out pretty bold. Now I'm really starting to run out of time because I'm down to 2 minutes and 27 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and really focus on speeding up here, sadly. I'm going to go ahead and grab my pencil layer and refine out some of these highlights that I like to get on his eyebrows. Do some here in his eyes. And I like using the pencil because I like it looking a little natural. I'll do maybe a little bit here on the cheeks. And now we're really down to the wire. So let's go ahead and focus on doing final details. I'm going to turn off my color layer. I'm going to open up my other colors layer that's not duplicated. I'm going to start with the eyes. I'm going to select them. I'm going to go jump in, grab some red, get my airbrush, and immediately just come in here and airbrush in the heavy red around the outside of the eyes here. Since I'm down to 1 minute and 32 seconds. So this is just really going to start helping to pull out the anger in his eyes. Okay. All right, and then finally, I'm going to grab a little bit of pure yellow, which I have here. I'm going to make my brush just a little bit smaller, and I'm right in the center. I'm going to intensify right in the middle, so it really, really, really just pops the eyes out and really explodes them out. This should look pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to go find all of my white tones where, like, my teeth and my teeth, nose, and, excuse me, which one am I looking for? There we go. Okay, sorry guys. I'm just starting to really feel that time constraint because it's going to go off any second now. Most of this is done with the airbrush at this point in time, as far as I can recall. In the rush that I'm feeling, you make these teeth white and pop them out off that. Focus on getting some of these areas white. Let's hit this one on his leg, and he looks really, really, really good. I love how he's popping. Looks really good. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Feeling pretty good about that. I'm kind of using everything that I got here to kind of verify everything I'm doing here. And I'm feeling really good about that. So I think I'm about done. I feel like I'm forgetting something though. But I think I'm out of time. I think I would do a little bit more refinement on his muzzle. His muzzle looks kind of flat. And I don't know what I would do so much in this case. I mean, I could try and airbrush. And there's the end of my time. That's it. I would maybe try to airbrush in just some slightly lighter tones, maybe here, just so this doesn't look so flat. I feel like it needs to kind of wake up just a little bit, and just to kind of give that structure. Not really that much though. All right, I guess that does it. Like I said, there's a lot more refinement in this, and it looks, I would say, a lot better. Oh, the one thing I forgot is my highlighting in the back. And the way to do that very quickly, once again, is to grab your white or yellow and then take your pencil and then very quickly just kind of hit this area here, and make sure that you do it right. I mean, get it nice and clean, but really knock this one side in here with this, and that's just really going to make it pop. This is what I call my backlight, or as some people would call it, a rim light. And if I just do this and I hit down here, hit this, and come down here. And you can do that in several different places, but even that alone just really makes things pop and look really, really cool. That'll do it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on today's video. I should quickly show you, here's this here and this detail now. Looks pretty cool. And I'll hop over into the previous one and show you this. And you can see it just looks a little bit cleaner. This is the old one. This is the first one I did. Kind of rough and jagged. You might not be able to tell the difference, but I can personally. And then here is the one that I think is t-shirt ready and refined and looking really cool. Thank you for hanging out with me and spending this time with me. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Quite a bit of time put into this, and I hope it helps you, because this is something that's really going to push you guys that next extra mile when it comes to really improving your artwork and getting it out there. I'll see you later. Bye.